Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back for a Wealth Wednesday. We are here for the first time in about 3, 4, 5 months just to go back to just educate you all about wealth. My name is Corey Phillips. I am the founder and CEO of Social Storm LLC, and I'm here to teach financial literacy, economic development across the country so that the more that we can go and empower and inspire the youth and young people to be able to go and build wealth, the more possible that things can continue to be in the community. So grateful to be back with this amazing episode and just continue to just showcase what's really possible. Yeah, so just about myself, I guess got started investing at the age of 16 years old. And now I'm 22 years old. I speak across the country, working with numerous organizations such as the Obama Foundation, featured in Black Enterprise, Chicago Sun-Times for the work that I'm doing in the community. So I'm always being able to just expose young people to what's really possible. So grateful for you all to be here and just continue to go and be a part of the show. Make sure to share this to your friends and family if you hear in the comment section. So just let me know how you all are doing, how you are feeling in the chat today. Let me know, and we can continue to just showcase all the possibilities. So I'm gonna be here every single Wednesday, just so it can be able to go and just share you all the top tier information on what's really possible. So before we get started, I just want to deep dive into just what's really happening in the world of finance, in the world of business right now. So there's so many different things. This is something that we're going to make as a weekly institution. This is something that I want you all to learn information, not just me teaching, but how we can go and use ownership, how we can use that as not not access, not proximity, not a paycheck, but ownership is really what builds real wealth for people in the community. And the more that we can go and continue to build that, the more that we can continue to shift what's currently happening. Yes, and then let me know where you all come in the comment section. I want to see where you all are coming. I want to see you got 6 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all for coming in on a Tuesday. I mean, it's a Wednesday. And there's so much going on, and there's just so much in the community that I want to be able to educate you all because it wouldn't be possible if we don't educate this information. So much information as far as the Fed results. Robin, thank you for coming in. There's so much going on. ESPN firing so many of their top CEOs, their top athletes and entertainers. A lot of different things from NVIDIA and Apple continuing to push forward past the $5 trillion market cap. And there's so much in the creator economy. Hey, what's up? Put 100 in the chat. If you are feeling great today, say what's up, how you all doing. Make sure you all share this to your friends and family. Let me know how you all feeling. Let me know if you have any comments or any questions during this live stream, because there's so much things. I am doing amazing today. I'm doing amazing. Just grateful to be back with you all and just be able to go and share this information to people, because even though I'm 22 years old, I want to be able to go inspire people all across the world what's really possible about building wealth and the community. So understand that just because someone in here, you might be learning this information, might be the first time you're talking about this, doesn't mean that you're behind. Everyone here is on the right track, and this is just about how we can continue to use this moving forward to apply. It's not just for ourselves, but for our community. So, like I said, a lot of people talk about real estate versus stocks. So who here owns real estate? Who here is a stock person? And who here is a real estate person? A lot of things talking about just wealth and things. Let me know in the comment section below. So here's some new information just on the American dreams versus stocks versus real estate. In 2026, stocks and equities officially overtook real estate as the largest share of U.S. household wealth. Decades after a long torch pass. So in May 2026, 89% of adults under 40-year-olds say buying a home is harder for their generation than it was for their parents. And only 24% of under 40-year-olds call home ownership a very good, and only 16% under 50-year-olds call housing a very good investment today, down from 25%. So yes, a lot of different things. Like we said, home ownership is something that is not as easy as it was before because the price of a house is nearly 3x and 5x, and everything has nearly stayed stagnant as far as paychecks. So, one of the most important things for people to understand is that, yes, it's not about having stocks versus real estate, but it's about being able to diversify your investments so that you can not just insure yourself, but your family. Because a lot of people want to put their investments into just one specific asset class, and they're not able to go and allocate that to other avenues. So you want to be able to make sure that it's not about one or the other. If you have a good financial foundation, you can better have access to more capital that can help you get to more real estate. So that's very important for people to understand that. And just people that understand that build tremendous amounts of wealth are not people that put all their eggs in one basket. They're people that, of course, they hyper concentrate in one area that builds them wealth, whether that's a specific business or a specific stock, but then they concentrate and diversify after that to sustain their wealth. Even like talking about um, basically investing a home, owning a home costs an average of 15,000, nearly $16,000 in hidden expenses, property taxes 3,000, insurance 2,000, maintenance 10,000. So a medium home bought for 500K in 1995 is worth 4 million today, which sounds incredible. But you compare that to the 500K invested in the S&P 500, which would be $8.2 million today, with zero property taxes, zero roof repairs, and full liquidity. So don't feel behind because you can't buy a house at 23. But house is a liquid and loaded with hidden costs, and nobody puts that on the listing. A portfolio is a low cost index fund that you can have access and have more liquidity, less overhead, and historically better returns. So this is something that a lot of people, in asset opinion, that's the math we just walked into. So for us, I'm always someone who starts about investing, but here to let me know what you all think. Let me know what you all think in the chat. Are you all buying a home in 2026? Are you all going to do whatever? Let me know what you all think in the chat. If you have any questions about any of these things. And then just looking at around the world, there's so much going on. What's y'all favorite city? Let me know what's y'all favorite city in the chat. There is so much going on in the world of real estate. Moving on to my next thing, we talk about Miami. Miami has continued to build up as Wall Street of the South. Miami is now flipped from a tourism and real estate town into one of the top financial and corporate capitals in the Western Hemisphere. Now, in about the last 5 years, cost of living data proves it. The BEA now ranks Miami as the second most expensive metro in the US, ahead of New York City. And this is something that's just trailing San Francisco. Things like over so many billionaires have transitioned there over the last 5 years, with 15 to 20 high net worth billionaires, plus dozens of wealthy family offices have relocated primary residences or companies or major estates to Miami in recent years. So South Florida is now home over 40 different billionaires. Many people like Jeff Bezos say hello. Thank you for coming to the chat today. People like Jeff Bezos have resettled from Seattle. People like Ken Griffin moving Citadel and building $1 billion real estate in Brickell, continue to build office development. Carl Icahn relocated his property. Sergey Brin and Larry Page, $225 million waterfront Miami real estate. Orlando Bravo moved private equity empire to Miami. Peter Thiel bought Vitinian Islands. Mark Zuckerberg has expanded his local footprint significantly there. And that's the thing, understanding that when I was in real estate, I came down to Miami about a year ago, and I was really able to see a lot of different individuals and just being able to see what's really possible. Because a lot of people, when you go into Miami, you see a certain level of people. You're not there just to impress, but everyone there is successful. And I really believe that if you want to become successful, you want to be around people who are already doing the great things. You want to be around people who is excelling. You want to be around people who are going to help push you to different heights. Because sometimes you have to be more than what's in just in your hometown. Understanding that there's more than just your block, there's more than just your city, there's more than just your country. And when I went to Miami, I just saw people who are go-getters, people who want to go and achieve more, and people that want to go and achieve greatness. Yes, understanding that this isn't just about trying to go and look like other people, because the people that's trying to fake it in Miami are going to get priced out. But the people who are going to continue to build and add value and change the world will continue to see dividends reap in the future of Miami. Yes, although Miami in itself is potentially going to be underwater in the next 100 years, we will see. But I just think it's understanding it's not just people, but it's continuing to have balance sheets. Citadel moved from Chicago. Microsoft planning its Latin America regional HQ in Miami. Blockchain.com moved its US headquarters from New York. Area Cap moved its global HQ from LA. Verena Systems moved from HQ from New York. Blackstone and Apollo Global both built major regional hubs there. I'm in Sunny Isles. Come see me. I definitely need to check it out. Let me know. DM me or hit me up on Instagram at Corey Phillips 3, and we can definitely come out and let me see what they got going on down in Miami. So let me know. DM me on Instagram at Corey Phillips 3. And then, well, why Miami specifically? Like, of course, it's a structured moat. There's zero state income taxes. There is, plus geography is one of the best weather in the country, and Miami's the gateway between the U.S. capital and Latin America. So also Miami International Airport has nonstop flights to things like places like Bogota, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, Santiago, Lima, and Medellin. So it's an American Airlines primary Latin America hub. And then also the capital safe haven effect is where there's literally a lot of political and instability in Latin America. So the currency devaluation in Argentina, Brazil, and many other companies like Colombia continue to put their capital into places like Miami real estate, private equity, and bank vaults, because we want to be able to understand that this is just an alternative place where they can store capital and continue to build that out. And understand that capital doesn't stay loyal to all the nostalgia, but it's really goes where it's being treated the best. And lowest taxes, safest legal system, as well as the best access to some of the greatest resources in the future. So understanding where different types of different things are continuing to move. We have so many different people of high value moving to that area, not just because of just the weather, but because understanding what's really happening in the world and what's really rotating and things like that. And then moving on to Miami, we talked about this. Like I said, Miami is not just a place for real estate, not just a place for capital, but for one of the world's biggest creators. IShowSpeed reportedly paid $11 million for a 26,000 square foot warehouse on a 2 acre in Miami's West Little River. Warehouse, a two acre in Miami's West Little River neighborhood, moving from a creator to media enterprise. So, like we say, a lot of creators are continuing to build their platforms outside of just being regular streamers. Streaming is one of the greatest opportunities for people to understand that you can use your personal brand and reach thousands and reach people all across the world. Back in the day, you had leaders like MLK, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton that were able to advocate for specific avenues. But now people have one of the greatest opportunities to go and reach people just from their fingerprints. Just what you have in your own media platform, just through your phone, and being able to go and amplify your voice wherever that is one of the greatest opportunities now, especially with artificial intelligence. As we see more automation, we see more things continuing to be real that are not real. The real world people, the real world opportunities come from people who are going to continue to add value to the world. So continue to understand that IShowSpeed reached 50 million people without even having to have his own office, from either in his house or him being able to move across the world. This is something we've seen from many other creators before. Mr. Beast already has a 140-acre facility in Greenville, North Carolina. He grew from 50 to $500 million subscribers while launching his Feastables and Beast games. Dude Perfect, 80,000 square feet HQ with indoor turf, courts, podcast studio, scaled full-time staff from 30 to 75 in just 12 months. So we're starting to see more creators go and invest into different studios that they started, of course, with just a streaming platform. but now they're actually able to go and build real media empires without even having to go and move forward without having the huge team, just by their own personal platform. So that's something that's very important for people to understand. So understanding the biggest thing and the biggest thing as a creator that you need to know is that you need to own, let from your audience is understand that you have to own your pipeline. Being able to understand that speed isn't just buying a building, he's owning the IP, killing the venue rental costs, and building a scalable studio for brand integrations for his future collaborations. And then also having asset allocation, he's converting liquid creator payouts into physical commercial assets that appreciate on paper, tax advantages, while compounding his enterprise value, so that we can continue to see many other creators continue to not just be just creators, but build whole entire landscapes. And just understanding that this is why, even from an iShowSpeed's perspective, is that he was able to go and utilize and make over that $11 million. But in the World Cup, he got paid over $25 million in the FIFA World Cup partnership deal with FIFA, YouTube, Warner, and Fox, which is something that he was able to go and utilize that by using his platform. While players only get paid anywhere between a total pot of 500 million top prize, but so every player in the FIFA World Cups makes anywhere between 600K to 900K. But understanding that iShowSpeed was able to go and make that 25 to 30 times more from a World Cup than an individual player who actually lifts the trophy. So it's so important to understand that the future is not just about the people that's playing on the field, but the people who's actually building the platforms. So you're able to understand that a player can only play 90 minutes in the field with a pitch, but a creator or broadcast can reach tens of millions of people at the same exact time, and with zero physical lift. FIFA pulls in $10 billion in the World Cup cycle, mostly off of broadcast rights and sponsorships, and that money follows whoever controls the distribution, not just whoever is on the field, but the exact pattern as ESPN paying someone like Stephen A. Smith, Pat McAfee, an anchor while cutting a veteran half the staff. Is the biggest checks go to whoever owns the pipes, not just whoever does the labor. So whatever you're doing in your job and your business, you have to do more than just do your job, because every single day you can wake up and someone else can go and take your job. These companies don't even care about you. The second that you go and have to go towards your goal, take a sick leave, maybe become a parent or take time off, or you go and pass away, your job will go and replace you the next day, because they understand that if you're not someone who can be valuable to the company, that you cannot be someone that the company can live without, they can go and replace you here and there. So understanding why you have to go and invest in yourself, understanding why wealth building is no longer an option. You have to go and give yourself that foundation that you need to go and take advantage of the opportunities right in front of us. Because that's why so many companies continue to go and build and profit off of us being able to go and understand that there is no sort of illusion and security. Just by you being financially free and you be creative, be that entrepreneur, understanding that you can escape the rat race, you can escape that cycle of you being in those generational curses and become and build those generational legacies. And that's the things that it's about us sharing this information. So that it's not about us not hearing this information, but how can we go and build this collectively? So each and every one of you all, let me know how you all are feeling, and let me know how you can go and implement this in your life moving forward. And then just looking at so many different things that's happening. Um, Streamer HBM HMBLJ continued to went on a 124-day, 3,000-mile walk from Philadelphia to California. He raised over 150K to build a vocational trade school for high school, priced out of the traditional college, to build a trade school. And this is something that his brand equity is built through discipline and a mission, not just marketing spend. A lot of corporations can just spend money on different products or different people, but if you don't have no real connection to the audience, or you're not actually building towards some sort of solution, you can't actually go and build something sustainable. So being able to go and just showcase what's really possible through streaming, like that can really change your life. Of course, that's 1 million people applied for Streamer University, but only a few people got selected. But for the people out there that didn't get in Streamer University, understanding that you have a great platform that you can apply towards your life, and that you just have to continue to make yourself stand out, continue to make yourself be someone that adds value to the world, and you'll see so much change. Another thing, talking about Ashton Hall. Ashton Hall, he drove a massive buzz online. He had this interview for Saratoga Water. So a lot of people revealed that he never had equity or a partnership deal. And his own words, he said he's not big on ownership, but I want to make money when I sleep. So this is something that is very important. A lot of us will give so much money to these corporations and we don't even get anything in return. You have to be able to go and push the audience, demand an equity, revenue share, distribution rights, and never just give a free product. Because these companies, why would I go and give a free product? Why would I go and partner and give equity to Ashton Hall if he's been giving it for me for free? You got to make them earn the right to work with you. That's why you see me going on this podcast and me on this live and me wearing my own company because I'm promoting equity in my own company. I'm not going and trying to promote Louis Vuitton. I'm not trying to go and promote all these other companies. I'm trying to go and build that generational legacy for myself. So understanding like what problem are you solving in your business that's going to be able to go and change the world. And then just understanding like it's super important that a lot of people are trying to go and actually add real value. A lot of people think that you're going to go make money off of these different viral podcasts, off of trying to go into do streaming just so you can make a hit, or you can try to go and distract people. But the real future is for people that's actually going to go and make actual impact, and whether you're actually going to just showcase what type of story you're willing to tell, what type of narrative do you want to create, and how can you go and make that happen? Because a lot of these different things, people are trying to go and just do things to get quick fame, instant gratification, but real brands want to see what type of audience that can actually go and build and actually scale with. So the more that you're able to go and connect with your community, the more that you can go and make more money in what you're creating. Okay, and then now just looking at the stock market in general. So now is something that's very important. This is the whole entire anchor of the show. I want people to know that the stock market is super important because it has transformed my life and it's transferred so many other people's life. Because it's so important that we understand that we can put our money into the market and truly give ourselves that financial freedom can really give us, whether it's traveling, whether that's going to impact your community, whether that's going to go and do whatever that is for you. Knowing that you have that proper financial foundation is something that can make you so much better. So just back today, Fed holds a rate steady at 3.5 basis points to 3.75. The treasury yield is 4.64. And this is something that's why it's super important that a lot of things can feel way more expensive. Inflation is continuing to rise as we see more geopolitical issues. We're seeing more conflicts. We're seeing a lot of the capex expenditure on artificial intelligence continue to rise. So we have to understand that things are getting more and more expensive. And if there is a prolonged war in Iran, if there's more geopolitical issues, or there's a lot of things that are made with oil can really affect the supply chain of the world and how things continue to move. The NASDAQ just entered correction territory. So NASDAQ 100 has fallen more than 10% from its June record high, driven by a sharp days-long sell-off from the semiconductor sector. Things like memory stocks, Micron's, AMD, SanDisk, and others all went down hard on growing doubts about whether the hundreds of billions that are being spent on the AI data centers will pay off as fast as Wall Street hoped. So this is something that's really important. A lot of people think that these companies are just spending a lot of money. Yes, they're spending a lot of money on data centers and hope that it can give increased future returns on investments. So if we see that there's less data centers being built and we see there being a lesser demand for that, and we continue to see that a lot of these companies might end up being in a process where they end up losing a lot of money and not actually making their return on investment, which would be detrimental for the whole entire AI trade. So we have to be understand that yes, there will be some companies that will be successful, but not every single company will make it out. But the companies that will continue to build on the ecosystem remain the ones who are building they're not the ones that are just providing the products, but they're providing the ecosystem for the future of this technology. And understand that when we talk about correction is a 10% from recent high, but a bear market is negative 20% and that's common and historically not a crash signal. They're completely normal. When you typically see a lot of all-time highs, it is very normal for stocks to be able to go down. So it's not breaking the market, just the market continuing to breathe moving forward. So that's something that's very important for us to go and not ignore that moving forward. And then also today, Apple reached $5 trillion market cap. On October 29th, 2025, NVIDIA was the first company to reach a $5 trillion market cap. And now Apple just caught up yesterday on July 28th, 2026. Apple crossed $5 trillion in market cap, becoming the second company ever to hit that milestone. So understanding that this is going back and forth between Apple and NVIDIA, and it matters because it's Apple. While Meta and Microsoft are pouring $100 billion in AI data centers, Apple's strategy has been very quiet and leaner on device AI protection, protecting their margin instead of chasing many of the different headlines. And be able to understand that Wall Street wanted to strain as much as ambition. That's something that understanding that not everyone who's building the largest spender or the person doing the most noise is always the person that's going to be the most successful. Sometimes it's about the company that's able to go and understand that Apple made its money not off of being the first into the actual ecosystem, but being the person that's able to go and come in later in the game and ask to go and take that market share and continue to dominate. So understanding that timing is super important. That we have to see Apple reports its Q3 earnings on July 30th, one day after the milestone, and Tim Cook's last call CEO before John Timas takes over on September 1st. We'll be back on this next Wednesday. And then also looking at some tech earning recap. Microsoft revenue is $90 billion, beat 87.7 earnings per share, 4.7 beat 4.25 estimate. Azure cost $100 billion in annual revenue for the first time, and CapEx is $41 billion under the panic estimate, which is why cloud investors are continuing to relax. They are continuing to make investments to the future of technology and to many of the top companies. And we have to be able to understand that this is something that we continue to see, but will we see the return on investment moving forward? Meta had $60 billion in ad revenue, $60 billion, ad revenue, $59 billion, both beats, but both adjusted earnings per share missed 6.18 versus 7.14 because of heavy AI spend in 2026 CapEx guidance raised from 130 billion to 145 billion in Zuckerberg's pitch. So basically, he was able to see that they were going to continue to put more spending into artificial intelligence, and they're accelerating their current ad base. And Wall Street is watching the payback window closely. So can Meta continue to make the return on investment to adjust for them being able to spend all that money on CapEx expenditure on AI? So we have to continue to see that. Just the investment lesson of the week is that CapEx versus free cash flow. CapEx is money that spends on long-term assets such as AI servers, chips, and data centers. And then if it uses too much cash without fast returns, the stock market dips on a beat. That's exactly what's happening in Meta right now. Smart investors check free cash flow, which to see if the core business stays healthy while they continue to invest in other avenues underneath the spending. So one linear line is basically important that big spending isn't automatically bad, but if it's specifically going into core engines that throws out the cash as why they build. And then just looking at just another thing why I talk about investing, understanding that your dollar is getting less and less valuable. We want to go and spend our money for everyone else, but we can't go and invest that time into ourselves and our future. The US dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power, and the Federal Reserve has since it was founded in 1913. $10,000 saved in cash in 1930s would just be only $290 worth of goods today. And that shows that it's something that's super important, that your dollar is getting less and less valuable. Why are we posting Instagram? Why are we posting on a Tesla car? Why are we posting out in Dubai when people out here are really actually struggling? There's 1 in 4 Americans don't have a savings account. So if you had any sort of amazing, you're basically living your life going without no protection. And understanding why we see so much around us continuing to change, why Americans are going to so many tough challenges, because we're not continuing to build ourselves. We're not continuing to go and build for our legacy. I completely believe that most people don't want to be financially free. Yes, of course, there's some people that want to go out there and actually build tremendous amounts of wealth and taking care of their family. But for the people that's still making money, but you're out there would go on an expensive trip, you go out there and buy a nice car, and you go out and you want to go and know an investment account. I want to know what type of people you are. Who are you in the comment section? Are you the person that's going to open up that brokerage account? Are you someone that's going to go and sit on the sidelines? Because this is one of the greatest opportunities to build wealth, and the people who are able to lock in and actually go and focus on what really matters will be successful at the end goal. It says chart that nobody shows you in school is that saving under the mattress isn't safe. It isn't guaranteed. It's a guaranteed. Slow motion loss. Every story tonight is the same lesson wearing a different outfit. The house isn't guaranteed safety. The corporate job isn't guaranteed safety. And cash definitely isn't guaranteed safety. The only real protection against currencies being built to lose value over time is owning assets. And those are built to grow. Stocks, businesses, and real equity. And that's not a hot take. That's 113 years of data. So let me know what you all think. And also just looking at a lot of different things. I love being able to read across the country. I love reading books. My book of the month is Risk and Rewards by Ben Carlson. It talks a lot about just the fluctuation of the markets and the importance of just being able to stay true towards your investment philosophy. So a lot of different data points is that downturns of 10% or more happen 1/3 of the time, and the market trades below its all-time high 93% of the time. So what happened in NASDAQ right now isn't rare. It's closer to normal than exception. So a lot of people think that just because the markets are going up and down and it's not an all-time high that they're going to lose money. So be able to basically the urge to trade or overhaul your portfolio the moment things get shaky will almost always lead to worse outcomes. So you have to understand that understand a goalie who stays basically if you're someone who's a goalie and you're trying to stay still and saves more than penalty kicks are the ones who die. So staying still is really the strategy than people who are able to go and move at every single moment. And all this understanding myopic loss aversion is that the more often you check your account during the dip, then the more short-term losses you actually see. And the more likely you are to panic and sell at the bottom. So basically turn off the price alerts. None of that doesn't matter. 90% of day traders lose money. And the more that you continue to check that psychology of what's actually happening, the more that you end up losing. Risk and rewards can be attached at the hip, and there's no version of real returns without real volatility. And the whole point is that investors who win aren't the ones who avoid the dip. They're the ones who already decided before the dip ever even happened, and they're not going to touch anything. Whatever you're doing, I don't want you to touch your investments. I want you to hold it out and hold it for long periods of time that can build you tremendous amounts of wealth. And understand that's really where you build the real wealth moving forward. And let's talk about this ESPN. There's so much going on right now with ESPN right now with so many different firings. In July 2026, ESPN executed another major round of talent cuts tied to corporate restructuring and NFL's 10% equity stake in ESPN. In exchange for ESPN absorbing NFL Network, many people, Ryan Clark, Emmy-winning NFL analyst, Carl Ravech, 33-year ESPN veteran, Cam Newton, former NFL MVP and first take contributor, Bart Scott, David Lloyd, Stephania Bell, an insider swept of the whole NFL Network. So we're able to see a lot of these different things. Earlier cuts that we've seen before, like Robert Griffin III, Sam Ponders, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, and Jalen Rose. So, and then looking at other people, like you see Stephen A. Smith has over a 5-year, $100 million contract, making over $20 million a year, making him the highest paid personality in ESPN history. Pat McAfee is making $30 to $60 million a year. He's not even an ESPN employee. He has his own production. He has his own independent business. Basically, ESPN just licensed the show. So understanding that, just being able to know that we talked about Cam Newton. Okay, yeah. Cam Newton continues to be able to go and utilize this because he joined ESPN First Take in 2024, signed an extension in August 2025, and was let go less than a year after actually signing the deal. So understanding that because he's not an owner. If you're not an owner, he's already built his own show, 4th and 1. An exit cost him a distribution deal, not his career. In his own words, if you don't really own your own platform, you're going to get overlooked, bypassed, and be extinct like dinosaurs. So if you're not someone that's able to go and not be on other people's platform, but you can actually build your own platform while you're there, you can be able to go and be able to move forward. People like Pat McAfee, he has his own studio, staff, and YouTube feed. ESPN pays him to be a simulus. So if that deal ever ends, he keeps broadcasting whenever things even end. So he keeps on missing a beat. So that's something that's the difference between being paid by a platform and actually owning the platform. When you own the platform, if you get fired, you can continue to keep moving. But if you get fired, you're not able to go and build. You're just relying on their employment for you to go and move forward. So why is ESPN bleeding in the first place? Is because they're being squeezed between exploding NFL sports rights right now from the NFL, NBA, SEC, and CFP. So it's like billions per year, and the collapse of the cable bundle that it used to fund it. So their answer has been to protect a tiny top-tier marquee licensed label talent while being able to treat the middle class of veteran analysts and anchors to variable cost to trim whatever earnings target slip. So basically being able to cut the people that are at the middle part as they restructure moving forward. So whether you're someone who's an athlete, you're a creator, you're an entertainer, working a 9 to 5 right now, the lesson is the same. If you don't own the pipeline, you are the pipeline. Own your platform, your audience, your IP, and because a paycheck can end with one meeting, but ownership doesn't get laid off. And then understand a lot of different people. We talk about wealth and just the long-term effects of wealth in the community. I'd like talk. A lot of people talk about Odell Beckham Jr. He really said NFL $100 million isn't $100 million. So he basically was on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark and Fred Taylor and Shannon Crowder and talked down the real math behind a $100 million headline, which is very important. Let me know if you all seen that show though. So when he talked about a 5-year, $100 million contract, 40% is broken down in taxes, 3.5 to 5% is broken down in agent fees, management, union, and escrow is 2 to 3%. The actual take home is $50 to $60 million, or roughly $10 to $12 million a year. So you can give somebody a $5 million contract, but it's really 5 years for 60, and we're getting taxed that's $12 million a year. So that's then lifestyle costs, housing, family car, security, and then you might walk away with 35 to 40 net, which is huge, but it funds over the other 50 years of life retiring at the age before the age of 30. Most NFL players don't even be in the NFL for longer than 2 years. So it's something that's very important, like the hidden costs that people never see, the jock tax. The jock tax is where athletes pay state income tax in every state and city where they play an away game. Not just where a team is based, but high tax states like California and New York eat into every roadside game check. So every single game you go into out of state, you get taxed. You have to take care of the village. So funding housing, business ideas, emergencies for extended network of work. 10 to 12 people can, once a mega contract lands, a lot of these athletes end up paying for their mama, their father, their cousin, every single person on the block to help them get there, which takes so much money out of that. And a fixed overhead, private security, hundreds of thousands per year per athletes in major cities, body upkeep. LeBron spends over $1.5 million on his body, trainers, chefs, PTs, and recovery tech, because his body is his primary income producing asset, and disability/career-ending insurance premiums. And then like a lot of pushback, Shannon Sharpe on Nightcap. If you get $60 million and you can't last you a lifetime, you got a problem. Spending $4 million a year without running a business that generates revenues out of your damn mind is framing. Multiple mansions. A lot of people buy all these mansions, luxury cars, choices of flying. They're not really necessary things. So like a lot of these NBA players, these NFL players, they go broke within leaving the league. Understand that a lot of people think that this income is for life, but this income is really is temporary. Lifestyle cost is permanent. $100 million headline creates an illusion of infinite money for a lot of these athletes. But without tax planning, asset protection, living below your means in your gross income, even a first ballot Hall of Famer can go broke because they don't understand why we continue to share this information. Because understanding that whether you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $100 million. Nobody hands these guys a class to gross versus the net before they actually sign. So before you even go out there and sign that contract, understanding what you're getting into, whether you're working your job or you're making a multi-million-dollar business, understanding how to allocate those different things. And then understanding, just looking at today's new, some news, the rise of content creation is still great. We continue to see Tuskegee's dress code continues to talk about them talking about not wearing do-rags and not wearing bonnets. And for me, when I look at different Tuskegee University, being able to see them take that away, because I believe they really have a standard of how you show up is how you continue to see where you are in the world. Someone wants to show up looking like someone who is waking up out of bed. That's what you expect in life. But if you walk out looking like $1 million, not necessarily having to pay $1 million, you can go out there and make yourself some sort of information. So I believe as other young person, me as a young person of color, you have to be able to show up in different spaces, not giving up your identity, but at the same time showcasing what type of value you can be able to provide and what type of professionalism you can go through your work. So being able to have a suit, being able to have slacks, be able to know how to actually go and go into different environments is super important. Um, and then also another great thing that people don't talking about is that Arizona State is able to go and create a new degree in content creation, and basically understanding that at the University of Arizona, you can be able to go and use content creator, or be an influencer as a new degree. So what people have to actually do is actually go and build some sort of social media brand online throughout the course, and they're able to go and get graded and a degree specifically for that, which shows the importance of how important it is to be a creator. If you're able to go and provide value, you're able to go and build some sort of audience, you're able to be more valuable than many of these other careers, because you're able to go and communicate and build a base of people that you can add value to. And be able to understand that each and every one of you has the opportunity, and it's only going to get bigger. More brands are not going to just go to regular people that are just top of the line celebrities, but regular everyday people who are able to provide value to specific niche audience will continue to be successful moving forward. And just being able just to see, um, a lot of people, I did really make this show just for off of some mindset, like idea, like for people that's really young, is to understand that we hit you with like so many different fruits back to back that like literally your house isn't guaranteed. Corporate safety, a job isn't really guaranteed, and understanding that the market flinched just a week too, so that everything's going up and down. But actually, the perfect final lesson is that corrections are normal. Panic isn't a strategy. The investors who build real wealth are the ones who avoid every single dip, and the ones who are already decided where they're building before even any one of these dips continue to show up. And real legacy is never about fitting the old script, settling a house, title, stack of cash, or savings account, but it's really about a mathematical leverage of ownership, building equity that actually compounds your investments, your business, your platform, your skill set, and build the discipline that holds when the headlines and get loud. So the more that we're able to understand that we can be able to go and that move forward. One thing I want you all to just go and take some information about you being able to start your account, being able to get started, whether that's a Roth IRA, brokerage account, whether it's a high yield savings account. I want you to get started with that. I want you to go out there and take action, post that piece of content. Why are we going to give so much time to our job, our employer, or people that don't even care about us, but we can't go and give that time for ourselves, in our community, and the value that we can go and provide to the world? You're not late to the party. You're just in time. It's just when you're able to go out there and go and provide that value to the world, and stop letting the current situation stop you from your future. Understand that you have to overcome those generational curses, and turn those generational curses into generational legacies. And understand that those things that we learn is not things that's going to help you get to the next act in your life. And the more that we can go and overcome those things, the more that we can go and truly build those things and desires for our future self. And just remember, wealth isn't just about money. It's your knowledge, it's your network, it's your health, your discipline, and the impact that you leave behind. And I'm Corey Phillips, and with Social Storm, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. I want you all to keep building, moving forward. Let me know how you all doing in the comments, and continue to build that legacy for your future. Because I promise you, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be days where you don't feel like doing what you want to do. But understand that you are powerful, that you are amazing, that you are something that you can definitely be. It only takes one shot. Why are we letting one person, one city, one community stop us from reaching the whole entire world? We let 3 people in our circle stop us from reaching 8 billion people. And that's the real reason why you understand that you don't need a million people. All you need is 500. All you need is 1,000. All you need is 100. You just need to be able to have people that you can be able to add value to the world and be able to go and continue to live towards your truth and your future. Don't have to go out here chasing trends. You don't have to go out here trying to be anyone else, but you have your own unique experiences. You have your own unique value. You have your own unique things that you can add to the world. And I want you all to do that. When you pass away, you're going to either live that life living for other people or building that life that you always desired. And whether you post or not, people are gonna laugh at you whether you post or not. So you might as well go post and take that risk and do whatever opportunity that's coming right in front of you. And like I said, this is one of the greatest opportunities for you to go and use your platform to build something. It used to be whatever type of how much money you had, what type of platforms you're on, being on the major news networks, but understanding that you are the news network. You are the platform. You are the new media company. And that all starts with you. And the more that you realize that the power that you have in your hands and your voice and your community, the more that you can go in and change things around you. So thank you all for joining this live stream. Make sure you all check out this live. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and make sure to go and use your voice each and every single day in this week and stay blessed moving forward. So I'll talk to you all very soon.